Hello, my name is Soфија Андрухович and I am a Ukrainian writer. I am deeply honored that my novel Amadока is being published in the Macedonian publishing house Arтконект. It is a special occasion for me to be able to present the Ukrainian culture and Ukrainian history to the Macedonian readers. So the novel Амадока is rooted in the subjects of memory, the historical memory, the collective memory, the personal memory, intimate memory, and the issues of remembering and forgetting and reasons behind these mechanisms, and also the way it shapes us nowadays, the way that we develop ourselves. The question is if we were shaped by the stories from our past, the ones that we heard from our relatives or people we know, the stories, the history that we learned in schools, the versions of history which were dictated by the regimes, or are we made from our own choices and the instances of our everyday life and everything that influences it. So the novel has a quite unusual structure, but I think it was dictated by the Ukrainian history and the understanding of Ukrainian history. It was unknown not only to the rest of the world until recently, but also many of Ukrainians weren't aware of many instances of their own history. And the things started to change slowly at first, and more rapidly with time, and especially they became really deep and pronounced after 2014 and 2015, after the Revolution of Dignity and the annexation of Crimea by Russia and the beginning of the war in Donbass. Many people in Ukraine who didn't think much about their own origins and about their own family stories started to ask questions about, for example, why they speak the language that they speak, or what happened to their dear ones during the Second World War or the Stalinist repressions. And suddenly many people realized that the Ukrainian history is full of these white blind spots, or that they bear the false memories of what happened to their families in the past. It became understandable that the place where we are now is a reason of the events which happened earlier, that we didn't appear suddenly, and this war, this Russia's war against Ukraine didn't came from nowhere, didn't started from nowhere. It has its reasons, and the events last for the few centuries. So what I wanted to do, what I tried to do with my novel was, on one hand, to show these connections, to show how history, which often is some abstract notion for us, is in reality is very personal, and how it influences the fates of the people. I started to write it being inspired with the personal stories of people that I knew, of people that I heard of, and also the people which lived earlier and which I never had a chance to meet, but I read their memoirs, or I read the books written about their lives, the historical works written about the times when they lived. And I wanted to explore and to imagine how their lives looked like, how their everyday lives were perceived by them, what relationships they had with each other, and how they influenced each other and the people who came after them. The question of remembering and forgetting is a very important one, but at the same time, I don't think there is an exact answer to this question. If we should remember what happened to us in the past, if we should bear our traumas with us and all the cruelty and unfair deeds which happened to our people, if we can leave them alone and forget them completely. Of course, it is very seducing, because it gives us this fantasy that if we leave them behind, we can have this blank page, fresh beginning, fresh start, and we can shape us the way that we want to be. We can be very light after that, and we can be very flexible. But I think it is a mistake, and it is very dangerous to forget what happened earlier, to forget the reasons and the journey that our people made. I think the answer lies in the balance of things. Sometimes remembering can be so painful that there is no possibility to live further, to stay alive while bearing these memories. So, of course, it is better to forget in these cases. But if we forget everything, then we are endangered to repeat these old cycles all the time. And this is something that the perpetrators try to do. They want to destroy all the memories. They want to destroy and to make forbidden different kinds of history. It is something that the Soviet regime and all the totalitarian regimes did in the first place. They tried to dictate their own version of the history and to forbid the real memories of people. I think forgetting is a luxury which only the perpetrators are entitled to. But the people who suffered and the people who felt how unfair the events can be and other people can be, they cannot forget, and they have their own stories and their own ways to tell the stories which help them to exist. Unfortunately, I don't think that our modern societies are able to counteract the modern forms of the totalitarianism. I think that the forms of abuse and manipulations became even stronger these days, thanks to the modern technologies and the tools that the social medias and all the kinds of nowadays instruments give. That today, unfortunately, it's so much easier to influence the fragile human mind. We are flooded with tons of details and facts and information, false and true. But even if it's true, we were not made for perceiving such quantities of the knowledge. And I think it's poisonous for us. We become overwhelmed. And that's why we become so easily controlled by that, because we cannot tell the difference between what is important and what is not important anymore. And that's why we are becoming less and less important to ourselves. So literature and arts, in my opinion, is one of the main ways to lessen this influence, because literature gives us space and it gives us time. It makes us slower. It allows us to shape our own story the way we feel, to shape our own identity the way we believe is truthful. It gives us this gift of becoming who we are and living in this exact moment, in this exact instant. It is something opposite to what the technologies do. Literature is not only about the facts, not about the truth, but it is about freedom as such, and about the way we perceive the world, about the versatile approaches to the world and to the life itself. When it comes to the relationships between the characters of Amadока and love that they feel for each other, I think these instances show us how fragile and vulnerable the human beings are, and how raw and soft the human nature is, how unprepared we are against the cruelty and inhumanity of the systems and regimes and people who stay behind it. I think these moments show us in the most profound way the loss that we endure, the loss of this clear and very touching, kind nature when people care for each other, when people are ready to sacrifice their own life in the name of their dear ones. And I think that love and relationships between people is something that probably will not save us, but still it is a very good reason to continue with our lives and to feel fulfilled and happy, and to be eager to wake up in the morning and to experience what the next day brings us. Thank you very much.